Welcome to The Archive Speaks, a podcast from the Refugee Archive. In this series, we document the journeys of refugee women who lead households, rebuild communities, and carry stories that often go unheard. These oral histories reflect the personal memories and truths of those who tell them, shaped by time, trauma, and resilience. The Refugee Archive holds space for these voices, without political alignment or editorial interference. If you've been following Ataa's journey through Syria, displacement, marriage, and early motherhood, you already know the strength she carries. But today, we arrive at a different part of her story, one marked not just by change, but by quiet endurance. This episode is the final chapter in Ataa's series. It begins with her home and what happens when it's left to her alone. In Za'atari Camp, Ataa is one of many women holding homes together, raising children, and navigating life in displacement with little support. Her husband, like many others, made the decision to leave illegally in search of a better future. Ataa stayed. She stayed for her children. She stayed to preserve what was left. And through that staying, she became something no one prepared her to be: a provider, a protector, a leader. Before we step into Ataa's life today, let's return briefly to a time just before everything changed, to the early days of marriage, of motherhood, of promises still unbroken. Because to understand how she became the woman she is now, the leader of her household, we need to remember what her life looked like before she was left to carry it all.
The life before I met my husband, it wasn't a very long love story. He met me when he was coming with his friend, and my friend was the sister of his friend. It was the beginning, and he wanted to get married and was looking for a conservative girl, and he wanted to find someone who suits him somehow. And that time I completely rejected the idea of getting married because my only focus was to continue my education and to get back to Syria. But my friend told me that this man saw you last time and he really liked you. He liked the way you talk and how respectful you are. And I said, it's okay, maybe he doesn't know that I need to get back to Syria and continue my education. I'm not ready yet for marriage. When she said that to him, he told her to tell me that he's completely fine with continue my education even after our marriage. So he likes education, he and his family like education, and they want an educated woman. So I said maybe it will be a good opportunity to get back with him to Syria, because my family didn't want to get back to Syria with me. That was the beginning of our love story. He was observing me while I was going to my organization in the camp, while I wasn't watching him, and I wasn't know that he is watching me. And after that, he asked his aunt, brother, and his sister, and more people there to come and propose me. And that happened. I said yes, but some of my family at the beginning wanted me to stay single until I continue my education. They said that it will be so hard to continue your education during you are married, and it will be more responsibilities than when you are single student. I didn't care about what they said. And I said, he is a good guy. He is a good man. He wanted me to resume my education. Maybe he will be able to get me back to Syria after our marriage. We will start again in Syria, and I will get back to my university with him. So that's why I wanted to get married and accepted. We stayed engaged for 2 months. He was coming to see me in my house with my family. We spent a good time. We were happy at the beginning. When you have someone care and promise you many promises to get you happy, anyway, it will cost. And after 2 months, we got married, and it was the beginning My marriage was not that much expensive. There were not many things during that day, but it was like a caravan and some simple stuffs. But we were happy. I was happy with my friends here and with my family, with my relatives, some of my relatives. In the early days of our marriage, I was a mixture of emotions. Sometimes I'm nervous, sometimes I'm so happy. It wasn't one emotion, it was a mixture of emotions. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm nervous, sometimes I'm unsure. I was trying to adjust my life by trying to accept the reality for having a new life, a new man with me, a strange man with me all the time, and yeah, new routines. And that man I barely know. So that's why I was sometimes nervous. And sometimes I wanted to stay alone. I didn't want to stay with him all the time because we barely know each other. And I think 2 months wasn't enough time to know each other. But this is what happened. Yeah, he was completely kind and nice with me. He tried to make me happy, to see my smile. I can't forget the first day when we got engaged. He promised in front of our relatives, I will try my best to make her the happiest woman and the happiest mom. And I was so happy for that because when I want to maybe compare between what did he say and what did my family said from the beginning, when I asked them to let's get back to Syria, I thought that time that he will do more for me than my family. So that's why I was completely happy. And I thought that I am the happiest woman in life that time. And for the first day of my marriage, I got pregnant just 2 months after my marriage. I can't forget that day because when I got the test and I told my husband, I showed him, hey, look, I'm pregnant. He was so happy. He carried me into his arms and he was like, I thought he was the happiest man in life because he will be a dad sooner and in a very fast time. And during this time, when I was pregnant until I gave birth, he was treating me so kind in a very nice way. I was feeling like his spoiled daughter, not his wife anymore, because he was so careful when he treat me, when he do anything with me, and he was helping me all the time with everything, even with the chores. I was working that time in a small organization, as I mentioned, in Relief International. And I remember most of the time he say, don't go, please. You don't need to work anymore. I can work and I can do anything. I can get money for you. But as an educated woman, I wanted to keep my education alive. I didn't want to forget everything I learned. So that's why I wanted to keep myself connected to education. I really wanted to try my best to build a beautiful future by getting information, more education, even by teaching those students in this organization. So that was my wish that time. And I wanted to keep connected to the world by education. Even he said, I can get you money and work instead of you. You don't need to work while you are pregnant and you will get very tired because this is your first pregnancy and it will be so hard to you to keep working outside the house and in the house and being pregnant. It was not very easy, but he was helping me all the time. And I remember whenever I feel sick, he treated me very well. He helped me. He get me medication. So it was a very nice time until I gave birth of my first son. That day, he asked his aunt to go with me outside the camp. She was also nice with me. It was the first child. I can't forget that time. I can't forget when I saw him for the first time after this very hard time of pregnancy. And finally, I can carry my son into my arms after being in my body for this 9 months. And I remember that I took a picture for him at the first moment. I gave birth of him, and I sent her to my husband immediately to show him, oh, look, it's your son. I remember he was so happy, and I was so happy too. For my first child, I remember for the first time, it was really very weird feeling, especially that I couldn't treat this small creature. I remember sometimes I was shaking when I carry him into my arms. Sometimes I cry because I don't know how to keep him silent when he cry. And I remember I was crying with him when he is crying because I don't know how I can keep him calm and how what I don't know what does he need when I give him milk, when I clean him, and he keep crying, and then I start crying with him. So it was really funny but somehow sad because I wanted him to be the happiest son, but I sometimes don't know the way I can do that. When I gave birth to my first child, my mom wasn't here. They were already getting back to Syria. I gave birth here for the first one without any parents, without any sisters. I don't want to say I was completely alone because I had my husband and he was always with me. Even when he tried to help her, he will not be able to help with everything like a woman, even like her mom or her sister. So this was my only problem, that many times I didn't know what to do with this small child. We were so happy, especially when he is not crying, when he's smiling to us, and when he laughing. We keep playing with him. Many times my husband were walking him up just to play with him. And I say, please don't touch him. He barely sleep now. I really did my best to keep him sleeping and calm. And then I remember that my husband was smiling and he say, I want to play with him just for a few time. And I say, it's okay, you can do that. For the second one, my daughter, Shada, it was really beautiful and good time. I recognize that my responsibility is more than before. More responsibility, more feeding, more caring, more duties to do. Not just like when you have just one child. So here you have two childs and you have to do more. Like the responsibility is more, feed more, clean more, care more. For the third and fourth, same. Each time I recognize that I'm older. I recognize that I will be more responsible. I will have more caring, more feeding for them. For the fourth time, I will have more duties for the oldest kids by teaching, and more responsibilities for the youngest by feeding, caring, and cleaning every day. It was a mixture of emotions, sometimes happy, sometimes nervous. Other times I like staying with them, staring on the ground without even knowing what should I do or what will I do, because like it was not stable emotion at all. Yeah, I gave birth of all of my kids while my husband is there. I remember he left us when my fourth boy was 5 months old.
In many refugee households, separation happens quietly. A decision is made, often by a husband or father, to leave in search of something better. For those left behind, the silence after that decision echoes much louder. Zaatari is full of these silences. It's not uncommon for women to wake up one day and find themselves solely responsible for their homes. What makes this story urgent isn't that it's rare, but that it's so common. Today, nearly 1 in 3 households in Za'atari Camp is led by a woman. Often without legal status, stable income, or extended family nearby, these women bear the weight of responsibility without the infrastructure to support them. When Ataa's husband left, she wasn't given a roadmap. There was no preparation, no final decision made together, just a series of conversations that ended in goodbye. In this next chapter, we listen as she reflects on the moment her home became hers alone.
I remember the day he left as if it were yesterday. No warning, more silent, quiet between us. We had a long conversation before that, and I discussed many times with him about that. We discussed that we can find another way. I remember that I asked him many times, if you want to do that, let us do that with you. Take us all with you if you want to go this way. In this way, we can stay all together. Whatever will happen to you will happen to us. There's no need to suffer a lot by staying away of each other. We all need you, and maybe you need us. That day, there were no more long conversation because we already did that long conversation before. And then the moment he left, I remember he hugged everyone and he kissed the kids and everything, and he left. But it wasn't just like that, because me and my old daughter followed him. We left after him. I remember, wallah, it was really sad because he hugged everyone and he kissed everyone and then he left. But we didn't stay home after he left. I remember Shada and me followed him. We called him when he was with his friends, and I remember there were many people in the street and they were saying, oh, she followed her husband. It wasn't a good feeling for me that day. He stopped walking that time, and he got back to us and he stayed with us for 5 minutes. I asked him for the last time, please take us with you. Then he said, you know that I can't now. Everything was done. Just take care of yourself and take care of your kids. We will stay communicating. I will keep you in touch and I will tell you what happened step by step. And don't worry. That was the beginning of his leaving, when he left us for the first time. Then we got back home, Shada and me, and my neighbors came to say, it's okay, don't worry, we are here. No one will leave you. We are all here to help you, brothers and sisters. I was happy for that. They were reassuring me all the time. So it was really good. I spent time with them. They helped me to not being sad so much that time. But also when they left, it was night. I stayed alone for the first time with my kids. And this time I recognized that I will be the only one who is responsible of my kids. And I didn't know the time I will be that way, because he didn't say anything. He just left, and no one knows how long we will stay here, how long we will stay without him, and how long we need to follow him. Many people were traveling illegally to Libya, across the sea, and then they got to Europe. And that's what happened because, it was public there that time. And I remember he was discussing this. And when I asked him, what are you talking about, guys? I remember he says, nothing, it's nothing, don't worry. And after he decided, he told me, because he know that my dream always was to get out of the camp, and he wanted me to be happy that time. He told me we decided to get to the Europe country by Libya. I told him, yeah, I'm happy for that because you are trying to get us out of the camp, but we can find another way. Maybe you can be patient and we can find any other way. Maybe it will be better than this way. And he said, we can't find any other way because it is really hard. And many people did this way and they succeed. And they are in Europe countries nowadays. He said that I accept, I cry, I ignore, or I don't take it seriously. I didn't think he was so serious that time. Next day, he said that I told a man to start the registration to apply the visa. And I said, do whatever you want, because I was sure that he will not do that. And maybe he will take my opinion more seriously that time. When he discussed, they told us that everything is done now and maybe the visa will be ready in 2 weeks. During these 2 weeks, we were always talking and discussing about what if it didn't work, what if something happened in the sea. And every time he say nothing will happen, everything will be fine, we will be in Europe in less than 2 months, then I will start the registration process to let you follow me with the kids. It will not need more than 1 year. I was so happy because one of those people did that and it happened. His friend left to the Europe countries, and then his wife and kids followed him in less than 1 year. I thought maybe I can be patient for this year. I will suffer a lot by doing everything alone, especially that I am here without parents, without sisters, even without relatives. It will be so hard for me. But I said, okay, I will be patient. At least at the end, I will get out of the camp. This is my target and this is my dream. It was not easy at all. I remember the first day, everything was different because I used to get up with him. We used to have our coffee together. I used to see him every morning when he's here. So this morning was hard because I woke up completely sure that he is not here anymore. I remember kids asked, where's our dad? I said, he's in Jordanian cities. I didn't tell them he left us to the Arab countries because I didn't want them to be shocked. And I thought maybe we can do that slowly. When Shada left with me, I told her he's not going to Europe countries. Shada is so sensitive more than her siblings. And whenever her dad goes, she do the same and she cries. And it was not a very different way of her. But like he didn't used to leave us for more than 1 week. So, for example, he was working outside the camp, and every time he go, she do the same and she cry and she ask him, no, Baba, just go just for 1 day. So that's why it was not something different of her. She was knowing, like she followed him with me because she saw me that I'm crying, and she do the same with me because she know that her dad is leaving, but not to the Europe countries. That's why Ahmed didn't do anything, because he used to do that whenever his dad leave us to Amman or to Jordanian cities outside the camp. So I recognized that he was not here anymore. It was a very different morning. I used to get my coffee with him when he is here. I used to start my morning with him by sometimes arguing, we were sometimes laughing, we were sometimes discussing about what will we do this day. When I recognized that there's no conversation anymore, I realized I'm completely alone and I will be the only one responsible in this house. Everything will be on my shoulder now, even my kids. I was thinking about how will I tell my kids, what should I do if I don't know how to deal with everything here in the house, especially that I didn't used to do everything when he was here. He was doing everything for me, but now I started to think seriously and everything started to be gloomy. There's no clear situation now because I was overthinking about what if I failed? What if I couldn't do everything for the kids? I was thinking more every time about him, what he's doing now, what if he didn't pass the sea? It was not a good feeling for me because now I am the only one who is responsible of everything. Like I have all these duties, like being a mom and a dad at the same time, and being a teacher and a housekeeper. It was not easy. And that time, of course, I was thinking that it should be me completely. My husband family is not in the camp. They are in Syria even before I gave birth for my first son, like my parents. They got back to Syria the same with my parents. They all left before I gave birth for my first son. So I was completely alone. No one helped. Some of my neighbors were coming and say hi and how are you if you need anything, but like literally there was just me, the only provider and the only responsible, the only caring one for those kids and for myself also.
There's a weight to motherhood that rarely gets spoken aloud, especially in displacement, especially in camps, and especially when you are the only one carrying it. For women like Ataa, being a mother means more than nurturing. It means protection, negotiation, and constant vigilance. It means being seen and judged for every step taken alone. In Zaatari, single motherhood is not always visible in policy, but it is deeply visible in practice. From food distribution lines to parent-teacher meetings, from pharmacy runs to online work sessions, these women stretch their presence across every corner of daily life, often without being acknowledged. In this part of her story, Ataa shares the invisible labor of raising 4 children alone, how she keeps them fed, protected, educated, and above all, loved.
So, in a typical day, when my kids have schools, I wake up early and then I walk them. I just do small breakfast because my daughter Shada doesn't like to eat more before school, so that's why I just feed her some small things and then I give her a sandwich and a bottle of water. And after she leave, I stay with the youngest kids. I spend time with them before I start cleaning. I sometimes have my coffee alone because I don't have anyone after my husband left. After typical cleaning, the chores and the washing the laundry, I used to teach online in a platform with نتكلم. So if I have a session with a student, I prepare for my sessions. And after the session, maybe I have to see. Sometimes I can see one of my neighbors. Sometimes I have to do something in the house, maybe watching TV, maybe talking with my family or my sister online, chatting with my friends sometimes, but not more time because sometimes I don't have much time for these stuffs because maybe I have 2 sessions during the day and sometimes I have meeting. And after that, I have to prepare lunch for kids before they are back of school. During this time, I could have one of my little boys crying or asking for something. I play with them, see what they need. This is what I do. A typical day: teaching, cleaning, feeding, cooking, sometimes chatting with my family, especially my sister in Syria. Once or twice a month, I talk to my mom because she doesn't have a mobile phone. She doesn't know how to learn or how to type. So that's why she can ask our neighbor in Syria, and maybe she could call me and we talk once or twice a month. But other time I talk with my sister daily. She's in Syria. This is my day. I really like this habit in my life. I try to include my prayers and Quran in my daily life. I sometimes recite Quran between the first and second session. Maybe I have 30 minutes. So when the house is completely clean, when kids are safe and quiet, I can recite some Quran and pray. In the evening, I stay with my kids and see their homework. I help my 2 old kids with their homework, especially with the English language. I teach them English daily because I want them to get a new language. I want them to get an opportunity in life, because when you have a language, you can keep connected to the world, like me. English language helped me a lot to get connected to you guys and to the world, and to get income, because my language, like my English language, helped me to get an opportunity to work with نتكلم. And also, if I don't know how to speak English now, I'm not going to get the opportunity to talk to the world now, to tell my story to everyone in the world. There are many schools in the camp. Recently, they increased the number of schools inside the camp, because the number of kids and students in the camp are increasing. We have we have two periods for schools. The first shift for girls from 8 to p.m., and then the second shift for guys from 12 to p.m. After 4, Ahmed is back. During this time, after 4, the lunch should be ready for when they have schools. But now, because they don't have school, we change sometimes. Like, we don't have specific time for everything. We have vacation summer now, so they don't have school. But I try my best to teach them English, even they don't have school. I just try to teach them some grammar. I don't want them to forget everything, because when you are not connected to the language and school, you could forget everything easily. So that's why even they don't have schools now, but I'm trying to teach them daily some English. The hardest part of parenting alone is being sick. Imagine that you have 4 kids and you have to be standing all the time for them. You have to care about them all the day, but you are sick. You are completely vulnerable and weak. This is the hardest thing I face. When I am completely tired, I just wish I have an hour to get rest, to get someone to care about me, keep the kids quiet, help me feed them or take care of them. But there's no one, unfortunately. This is the hardest part. Also, the other hardest part is when one of your kids are sick too. Like I remember when my daughter Tala was sick, I was looking at her and crying without showing her, because I feel like I can't do anything. Like, she is completely weak, and what should I do? I have to care about her and her siblings. I have to keep my sessions alive. I have to give my sessions to my students. I have to get income. I have to cook. I have to do. This is the hardest part when you are sick, or even when you have one of your kids sick. I think I needed help many times when I got my kids sick, but I didn't find. It was the hardest thing I faced. I imagined, what if I have my sister here? I could rest when I have one of my kids sick. It was a challenge to myself. Being patient, giving more time, giving more caring, more than I give usually to this sick kid. It was the challenge, and it was the hardest part. Sometimes people look differently at a woman without a husband. Some look with pity, some with suspicion. You know that because you are not with your husband anymore, and they will judge you whenever you go, whatever you do, especially in our community. Here, being a woman without a man, whenever you go, people will judge you. Whoever you talk to, people will judge you. Whatever you do, people will judge you. So it was not an easy situation for me. That's why I tried my best to take my old son with me wherever I go. Sometimes I got a neighbor. She was very nice with me, and I used to ask her sometimes if I need to go somewhere to bring some crosses, some if I will go to the pharmacy to bring some medication to kids. So that's why I tried my best to keep myself in the safe side of being judged of those people in this community. Because like I said, people here judge, and you are always watched because you are an only woman without your husband. So yes, sometimes they judge. But at the first time, I was really thinking about what will they say. But after I started slowly to use to this situation, I started to be stronger. I started to be like to don't care about whatever they say, whatever they do, or even whatever they judge, because I have to focus more on my needs and on my kids' needs more than focusing on what people say about me. Or I had to be stronger and fight for them, and I had to focus more with my path more than focusing on what people say about me. At the beginning, I was caring all the time. I was really thinking about what people will say about me, what people will think, what if people think I'm going to do something bad. Nowadays, I am completely ignoring these people because I am stronger now and I am just focusing on my needs, my life. I am thinking of my kids' needs. I don't think I have to focus on what they say about me anymore. They are not with me and they are not suffering with me. When I need something, I'm not going to ask them to help me. I am the one who helped myself now. So why should I care about them? What will they think about me? Now, I'm stronger now and I know what I'm doing. I know myself and I'm not afraid of people because I'm afraid of Allah, and I really want to save my motherhood. I want my kids to be proud of their mom. So that's why I keep myself away of everything bad. And I think I'm rational enough to do anything bad, especially nowadays, being a mom with 4 kids. I don't think I have time to think about many bad things in the life more than thinking about my kids and my future. And this is what I'm focusing up on, literally. There was a situation with my daughter, with Shada. I was completely weak for my daughter because she was in her school. One of those Syrian teachers told the teachers in front of Shada that this poor girl, her dad sank in the sea and he was about to die. When my daughter came back from school, she told me, and I couldn't forget her tears in her eyes while she was telling me. She mentioned that Shada's dad was about to die, this poor girl that time. I went to the school and I told the principal, how dare you tell that in front of this small daughter? Don't you feel her emotion? If you want to tell anything, you can tell in front of her. If he left, we are alone now without him. I was all the time thinking about that. I learned from these things, I learned how to be stronger. They strengthened me. I was so proud of myself when I told her principal and the teacher. I apologized. I saw my daughter smile, proud of her mom. Even if she doesn't has her dad, she has a dad and mom at the same person now. I was her dad and mom. I didn't allow anyone to break my daughter. I was so proud of myself that time. It wasn't like being winner of a battle. It was being winner of our dignity, of our respect. So that's what happened. All people here respect me because they recognized how much I did for my kids. They are special, successful, organized all the time. They are, yeah, I mean, they are different of many kids here in the camp because I was with them all the time. I was walking them every step until they are this way. I remember that I was a little upset of that teacher, but at the same time, when I saw my daughter laugh and smile, I was so proud that I did that for her. I fighted for her. I'm always fighting for them because I want them to be strong. I want them to be proud of themselves, firstly, and then to be proud of their mom.
By the time a woman becomes a head of household in a refugee camp, she has already crossed more than just physical borders. She's crossed assumptions about what she can endure, what she's allowed to carry, and what she's capable of rebuilding. In this final chapter, we sit with Ataa's reflections, not just on the years behind her, but on the dignity, strategy, and fierce love that carried her forward. This is where the story quiets and expands, where personal memory becomes collective record, because when women like Ataa speak, they're not just sharing what happened, they're showing us what needs to change.
As a mother alone with my kids, I am proud of being patient for the first time, of being a successful woman. I'm so proud of being the only fighter for my kids, the only provider. I am so proud that I didn't ask for help from anyone. I'm so proud that I did everything for my kids alone. I was the only provider, I was the only responsible. I am proud of being their teacher, mom, dad, friend. I remember whenever I have time, even during my session, and then I have just 15 minutes to the second session, I remember I was sometimes spend this time playing with them. I go to them and play with them. Even I'm completely exhausted. But I am so proud that I didn't left them. I didn't leave them alone. I gave everything for them: love, support, medicine, education. I want to be proud of them one day, and I want them to be proud of their mom. So I was the only fighter for them, and I think it's enough to be so proud of myself. When I think about that girl who arrived to the camp at the first time, I just recognized that she was scared. She was a little bit lost. She was full of questions and she was scared. She was all the time scared of people. She was always scared of being judged. But now I can see a strong woman, a responsible woman, a fighter. People think that she is a victim. I can see that she is not a victim at all. She is a fighter for her family. When we compare that girl and this woman now, I can feel that this is really something different between that scared girl and this strong woman. I don't want to say we can't connect them to each other, because that girl, single girl, still have the same standard, the same principles, and until this time, until like she shares the same principles. She was scared, she was lost, she was weak more than this time. While you can see this strong mom, this strong woman who is full with trust, who is full with faith, because she believed in herself and she believed in Allah. She believed in her ability and capacity to do many things for her life and kids, away of people and any support of anyone. I need people to understand. I think that people misunderstand women like me because they think we are weak, or maybe they choose to think about that because they wanted to judge us. They also misunderstand our situation completely. They think that we are victims, we are vulnerable, we can't do anything for our kids, we can do nothing without a man, but we did and we can. We can do all of this. I could do all of this for myself, for my kids. I fighted for them. I did everything they wanted. I gained income. I gained money for them. I have dignity and I protected my dignity. I made my kids proud of me. I grew them to be strong kids in their schools, to be trusted in their schools and their classes, to be the best student. They are always the best in their schools and here in the life and in the neighborhood. People misunderstand women like me. They think that we are weak, we are vulnerable, we always ask for help, but they don't understand that when we are determined, we can do many things, and we can do all of these things for ourselves and our kids without asking any of them to help us. In other words, I want to say that I used to be the backbone for my family, while people were thinking that I'm a victim, and while they were thinking all the time that I am weak, while also they were thinking that I am asking for help of any man. I really wanted people to know that I am not a victim but a warrior. Not all women who are alone are weak. Not every woman who is left alone are vulnerable. Not every woman who are alone is a victim like you think. And I want to say that I used to fight and I did everything, and I am so proud of myself. I'm proud that my children are still smiling all the time, and I am so proud that whenever I look at my kids, I see strong, respectful, hopeful kids that I really wanted to see. Despite everything, I'm still here, and I'm still standing, and I'm still fighting. I'm always loving my kids with all I have. This is what I wanted people to know.
Even after years of holding a home together, dreaming is not a luxury Ataa has given up. Like many women in long-term displacement, her future is shaped not just by what she hopes for, but by the limits imposed around her. In Zaatari, opportunities for relocation or higher education are few. And yet, women like Ataa keep preparing, studying, applying, believing. Their hope is not naive, it's intentional, it's inherited, it's necessary. Here, Ataa shares what she still holds on to.
I believe in God. I really just wish that I will be out of this camp. I'm not getting back with my kids because this is not the life I wish to my kids. I was patient with this life, with these circumstances. I really wanted to get better life for them. So this is what I hope, and I want to be patient for one day to get out of this camp, but to a better life and circumstances. Allah. Because I took many steps and I don't want to get back of these steps. I want to move forward, not get back. There is nothing to help with my kids. I really want better life and very high education to my kids. I just imagine Shada as a doctor. I can see her in the future as a doctor, someone very special, because she deserves that. And even Tala and Ahmed and Abdulrahman, all of them, my target for my future. I want to be patient and see what will happen. And I am completely sure that one day, one miracle will happen with me, because I think I deserve, and also my kids deserve that. One day we will see what happens, inshallah.
This is where we leave Ataa's voice, not in silence, but in continuation. Her story, like so many others, does not end with survival. It expands into a vision of what could be possible, if only the systems around her listened as closely as we have. 1 in 3 families in Za'atari is led by a woman, and yet, so few of their stories are preserved. This podcast exists to change that, to create space where their lives are not just witnessed, but remembered. Because archives are not just about the past, they are about power, about who gets seen, who gets heard, and who gets counted. Thank you for being with us through Ataa's story. When more of us listen, more of them speak. The Archive Speaks is produced by the Refugee Archive, a small team of women across the globe brought together through advocacy and intention. This is a community-rooted project That means we need you, the listeners, to help shape what this becomes. If you want to support our cause, subscribe to our newsletter, The Refugee Archive, on Substack, because when more of us listen, more of them speak. Are you a refugee woman with a story to share? Are you an archivist, academic, or advocate with research to contribute? Get in touch and email us on substack.all.hands@gmail.com. You can learn more about the Archive Speaks and the Refugee Archive in the show notes.